Hello and welcome. I'm going to show you guys how to make your very own UCO Candle Lantern oil insert. Okay, so the parts that you're going to need a piece of t-shirt or a shoelace or whatever, a piece of cordage. As long as it's made of 100% cotton, you're good to go. So I've got a couple of them here. Couple pieces. Then I got this piece here, which is the part from a coax cable plug that you would find in your wall. So when you plug your TV in for the old-fashioned cable, this is the part. And on the piece of plastic plate that this is usually mounted on, there's a nut on the back side. And I took that nut, and you save that nut as well. You can discard the plastic. You don't need that anymore. Now, this part here had, at one point in time, had a plastic in the middle all the way through to the other side. So what you got to do in that case, you need to heat this piece, heat it up just enough so that it releases that plastic inside. Then you can take a nail or like I did, a Q-tip or a toothpick, and you can just push it right through, and all the parts and the plastic will come out. Then you're left with a nice clean circle with threads on both ends. Works perfectly for the top part of your project. And then what you need is a bottle. This size here, it says 60 grams, 2 fluid ounces, 63 milliliters. This is a travel size bottle of hair mousse. And what I did is I emptied out all of its contents. Then what you do is you take a drill, and this is what it would have looked like previously. This is what it would have looked like before, right here. And what you do is you cut this, once it's all empty, you take this piece here, take a knife, I just cut that piece off. So then I need to find out the diameter of this, which I wanted to drill a hole. So I went and I found the drill bit the same size as this. And now that you have you already have basically what you call a pilot hole, you take that hole, you put your drill bit over top of it, and slowly, gently start drilling. Don't push too hard, because this is only aluminum and it might bend all the way inside and it may just ruin your project. But what I did is I just took my time, start drilling, drill your hole down. Once you have the hole down, inside of this there was a long shaft of made of plastic. So what I did with that is that you have to fish it out. That's the hard part. Now what I did is, you just take it and flip it upside down, because you know that there's nothing left inside. You flip it upside down, you shake it, eventually you can get to it. Take a pair of pliers, whatever you need to get that out. And once you get that big long piece of plastic, it's as long as this, because it's made so that it takes the liquid from the bottle of the can all the way to the top and then dispenses it. So once you get that piece out, then you're left with a hollow can with nothing inside. So you want to rinse that out, make sure that there's no shavings and stuff. And then once you're at that point, then you can take this piece again with your nut, make sure the nut is on, and at this point it would be lowered down into the hole that you drilled through this part here. So you lowered it down into the hole, and what I did is I took this stuff here, this gray stuff, all the way around. This is a metal epoxy putty, and you take it, and I took a piece and I rolled it in my hand, and I made a long piece about this long and about this narrow. You take it and you roll it all the way around, and then you just start pushing it in. I pushed it in with my fingers. And then I took a toothpick and I just kind of went around the edges. I didn't want it to stick too far up. I didn't want it to touch the threads on this, because once that happens, then it's going to seal the threads up. So before it does dry, though, you want to make sure that you can move it. Pull it, move it around like this. Once the putty has started to cure, and then once it's started to cure, then you can pull this piece out and let the rest of it dry. So you just leave it there, let it dry. Once it's dry in about an hour, then you're good to go. So you can take this piece here that you've already taken the middle parts out. Take your piece of t-shirt. Take your shirt and fold it up a few times. Stick it into that hole. Take your toothpick. Poke it all the way up there until you get up to the top. And you don't need to have a lot of it coming out of the top. You just need like a little tiny bit. Just enough so you can see that it's sticking up. Then you can take the rest of the shirt. Once you do fill this can with your oil, whichever kind of oil you would like. Now, before I go and put that in there, I did have this part here, this piece here that I had laying around the house. It's an old flask. It's an 8-ounce flask, and it came with this little funnel. And the cool part about it is that this funnel fits perfectly into that hole. So now I can take this funnel and I can pour my oil right inside. Makes a cool little a helping hand, so that you don't get oil all over your tent or anything. So then, once it's full, you would stick this down into the hole here, all this material. Now what happens is that the oil will travel up the material right up into the hole and out to the top. So then you get to the top here, and then you start screwing, because you can catch that now that you're good to go. This part's going to start screwing down into the nut that's underneath the epoxy. Then what you have yourself here is a nice kind of spill-proof container, I guess you could say. The only place that this will leak will be from the wick, because of the that's where the oil comes out. So that's why I kept the old top, and I can reuse it as a little cover that'll protect some of it, keep some of it from coming out. But ideally, you wanna make sure that this is either empty while you're transporting, or if you can't have it empty, at least make sure that it's up in the air, or standing up this so that the wick is up in the top part. And then there you go. There you have it. You have yourself a little lantern oil insert. Now you can go to the UCO website, and you can order. You can go and order an actual one made for the lantern, but it's only a small one. Now another thing with this is that you're not going to be able to collapse your lantern as far down. It only goes about till there with that on there. But that's no big deal. I could just take that. I'd always take that out. And then you can just transport your lantern in that way, right? And then these are just like separate pieces that I would put together, and then stick this in my backpack, just like so. But like I say, the one that you can buy, the actual brand name UCO lantern oil insert, will only give you about 6 hours of light, is what they say. 6 hours burn time. Now with this one, I tested it out last week with paraffin oil, and I got 15 hours out of it. That's quite a difference. And besides, the other one, their brand name one, is all made of plastic, and the only part that's made of steel is your wick at the top. And I'm not too keen on that kind of, this is in my tent, and I really didn't want any harmful. I didn't want it to melt and fall apart and stuff. But this is a very good, you know, alternative. You can put whatever kind of oil. I don't know. I'm just sure that there are other kind of oils out there, but I use paraffin oil, and I believe you can also burn kerosene in this as well, or like something like that. Yeah, but for safety purposes, I'm using the paraffin indoor oils. But there you have it. That was a quick and easy little project that I did in about, I don't know, I'd say maybe a couple hours, and it works perfectly. 15 hours of burn time, and I bring an extra wick with me just in case, but, you know, I have only had to use the one wick, and that's it. Thank you very much, and have yourselves a great day, and enjoy the woods.